How to prepare your kids after there's a domestic violence incident and before a DCF worker comes out to see them. First and foremost, you want to try to assure the kids that they're okay, that they're going to be safe, that you as the parent are going to do everything necessary to keep them safe. Also assure them that they're not in trouble, that they didn't do anything wrong, and even if they ran out of the house or they were the ones who called the police, let them know that they did the right thing to make sure that everybody in the house was safe and that you are now taking that responsibility. You do not want your children to be what I call parentified and thinking that they have to protect the siblings, they have to protect you. It really robs the kid of being able to grow up and mature properly, because now they are taking on adult responsibilities without adult capacity. So you want to make sure that you are preparing the kids by letting them know you're going to do everything that you need to do to keep them safe, and that if there's a DCF worker coming out to the home, just sit down with them and prep them in general, saying somebody's going to come out to the home. They're going to want to know about what took place in the home. I want you to be honest. Please do not try to rehearse with the kids. Please do not try to tell the kids what to say or not say. It's not fair to them, and it puts them in the middle. It makes them feel like if I say the right thing, DCF will go away. If I say the wrong thing, I might have to leave the house. That's not their responsibility. That's not on them to actually do. That's on you as the parent to make sure you do everything necessary for them not to be removed. So you give them that calm assurance that you are taking the steps necessary. If it means changing homes, if it means changing schools, if it means moving to a whole nother town or a whole nother state, let them know that while this is a disruption and they don't want to do this, and you may not want to do it yourself, but be honest with them saying that, but I have to do everything to keep us safe. And make sure that they have counseling supports. Do not assume that just because they didn't come out of their room when the incident was happening, that they didn't hear anything, that they don't know what actually took place. While they may not have seen exactly how the incident happened, they could hear it. And, kids will say, oh, I was asleep. They really wasn't. They could hear it. And they're just too afraid to come downstairs. I was a prosecutor as well, and I dealt with domestic violence cases, and there were these two girls, and the report was that the mother's boyfriend literally kicked in the door. And he kicked it in and, actually assaulted her in the house. And, I interviewed the police officers, and they said, well, the kids were asleep. And I thought to myself, he kicked in the door. He didn't, jimmy it open. He kicked it in. How were they asleep? And that bothered me. That bothered me that no one bothered to interview the kids to ask what actually took place. And oddly enough, that case went to trial. The perpetrators, we're going to call him, the boyfriend, was actually an officer. And I thought, yeah, this is not happening. I will go to trial. And while it was a he said, she said, I said, no, there were two other kids in that house. And I, ensured that the officers went back to actually talk to the kids. And I actually talked with mom about what happened. And finally, the kids actually said, yeah, we heard what happened, but we were too afraid to come downstairs. That convinced me that we are definitely going to trial, and he will definitely be held accountable, because as an officer, he should have known better for sure. But it really taught me something about what kids know and what kids are actually thinking when these things happen, even when they're not in the same room. So, be sure to even ask your kids, what do you think happened? Or tell me what is on your mind, because it allows the kids to open up, get that out of them, and be able to talk about it in a safe environment. It may help you decide whether or not they should go to counseling. Whatever you have to do to make sure that they feel safe will be a great indication to the DCF worker that you are taking care of this, that you are doing everything necessary to safeguard your children. So, like I said, domestic violence, or sometimes they now call it intimate partner violence, it's a scary thing. And if it's scary for you as the victim, as the adult involved, it's even scarier for the kids because they have no control. And the people that they are relying on to protect them, if they're not able to protect themselves, it's even scarier. So, take the time to really reach out to your kids, to talk with them, to get them the support that they need. You might need counseling, but they probably need it too. Or it just be beneficial to have someone else to talk to. So domestic violence, like I said, it's a horrible thing to happen within a family, but it doesn't mean that it is the end. That is, this is how we have to live. There is help, there are resources, and most importantly, there's a way to protect and also support the kids throughout the process.